Hello everyone, this is Karen from Makeup and Beauty Blog, and in this video I'm going to show you one way to fill in brows. But before we get into that, I have somebody I would like to introduce to you. Someone I've known for a really long time. He's actually my stalker, and his name is Raul, and he is this bald spot on my left brow. Oh my god, yeah. So I've been growing out my brows for about 9 months now, and this one spot, it just like won't go away. It drives me nuts, and I think it's just like a reminder of all of my over plucking that I did with my brows in the 90s. So lesson learned here, kids, is don't mess with your brows too much. Anyway, on that note, this video will show you one way to fill in your brows, which is with eyeshadow or a brow powder. The thing is there's so many different ways to fill in brows. There's like, you know, you can use pencils, you can use gels, you can use mousses. And I find that with eyeshadows or brow powders, it's just like the fastest and easiest way to do it. And for me, I think it's the most natural looking way. I learned it from a MAC artist like years ago. And at first, you know, it's like, there's some steps, but once you get it down, you could seriously just do it in your sleep. I've done this at like 3 o'clock in the morning, right before I've had to catch like an early flight. I've done this on trains. I've done this, oh, I hear Tabs meowing in the background. Anyway, I've done this on trains. I've done this in like moving cars with really bad drivers. Like once my friend Cindy and I bless her, I love her to death, but like she can't drive for squat. And one time we were in San Francisco and SF has like all these hills. And I remember like driving with Cindy and like being tossed around in the car and doing my brows. And by the time we got to where we had to be, my brows looked good. At least I thought they did. So anyway, this is just an easy way to do your brows with brow powder. And so let's jump right in. So I went ahead and filled in this brow right here to give you an idea of what a finished brow versus an unfinished brow looks like. What we're going to need to start with is an eyeshadow or a brow powder that matches your hair color. Right now my hair is a few shades lighter than my natural hair color, which is like really dark brownish black, and it has a lot of red in it. So I'm using MAC Brun, which is like a really dark reddish brown. If you're a darker brunette, you can use something like Matte Concrete, which is the color I used for years when my hair was its natural color. If you're a lighter brunette, you can use something like MAC Cork. If you're a blonde or you have platinum hair, you can use MAC Omega. And if you're a redhead, you can use something like Cork or MAC Texture. I'm also going to be using an angle brush. This one is from Laura Mercier. It has a spoolie at the end. I'll link all this stuff below so it makes it easier for you to find things. I'm going to load my brush with Brun, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by placing it underneath my brow. And I'm going to put it in the part where the hair is the darkest and the densest, which is this area right here. And I want to put it there because where the brush touches down first is where it's going to deposit the most color. And because I'm going for a natural look, that's where I want the most color to be. Also with an angled brush, when you lay down the product, the darkest area is going to be where the shortest part of the brush is. Because that's where usually like you put the most pressure down. So I'm gonna have that placed closer to the darkest area of my brow. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just gonna show you. So what I'm gonna do is plop that right down and then right there. And then take whatever's left over on my brush and just trace the lower part. I'm dragging that just along. There we go. So my brows are a little shorter than I would like, so I like to extend them just a tiny little bit at the tail end. So if yours are shorter too, one way to figure out where to stop is you can take like a brush or an eyeliner and line it up from the edge of your nose to the corner of your eye, and then wherever that area that line is, you can just extend it out to there, and that's what I did right here. Now I'm going to repeat the same thing, and I'm going to do that on the upper part of my brow. Again, I'm going to start in the area that's the most dense, and then I'm going to run the brush along the edge of the brow to kind of build it out. So we're going to plop that right here, And then I'm gonna drag it along once more, just to build out the shape. And I'm gonna kind of check it to see how it fares with my other brow here. You know, they don't have to be exactly the same. They just have to be pretty similar. And there's that old saying that you want your brows to be sisters, not twins. And in my case, they're definitely sisters. My eyes aren't symmetrical. I don't, you know, unless you're one of those very genetically gifted people, like most people are gonna have asymmetrical eyes and asymmetrical features, so you kind of have to like work with what you've got. And I kind of think that's cool though. I mean, I love that I've got my little quirks, you know? So I'm gonna reload my brush with Brun, and then starting from the darkest section of my brow, I'm gonna fill it in with short upward strokes. So starting here, and then just slowly moving upward. Sorry if it seems like I'm kind of sitting at this weird angle. I'm trying to get my mirror situation worked out, so. And my tummy just rumbled great. Sorry if you actually heard that. That was really embarrassing. My stomach is really noisy. I haven't eaten lunch. And so yeah, short upward strokes. And I tend to go a little darker as we get to the tail. And then once I feel like my brows filled out nicely, I'm gonna take whatever's left over on my brush and I'm just gonna run that through the front end. Now you can actually, you can build this front end out a little bit more if you want. I don't really do that. And when you do that, what happens is like it makes your eyes appear as they're closer together. So it's a good trick to have in your pocket if you've got wider set eyes and you want them to appear closer together. I don't really need to do that, so I'm not going to do it. So I usually take whatever is just left over on my brush just to add a little bit of color and shape to the front there. So we've got that part down. And now I'm going to take the spoolie on the other end of my brush and I'm just going to run it through. And what this does is just to help like distribute the powders a little bit through the hairs and mellow them out. Okay, I want this side a little bit darker, I think. So I'm gonna put a little bit more powder, run that through. So I'm checking on the camera just to see what it looks like. Okay, so you can actually stop here and call it a day. But if you want to do a little bit of extra, do an extra step, you can take something like a clear brow gel. I've got Anastasia's clear brow gel here, but you can use something like a clear mascara that you can get at the drugstore. And I'm just gonna take this and, oh, a little tabby hair. When you're a cat lady, you can't get away from them. Anyway, I'm gonna take this and I'm going to just run it gently through my brows. And again, this just kind of helps to mellow out the color a little bit and it sets the brows in place so they don't move. If you do this and you find that there are patches that get a little lighter, when the brow gel dries, you can always go back in with your brush and your eyeshadow to darken it up a little bit. Now again, this is another area where you can totally stop here if you want, but I'm gonna show you a little extra trick to give your brows a little bit of lift and some pop. I do this all the time when I take pictures or if there's like an event that I'm going to, and I don't know, I just want to get a little extra fancy with my makeup. And what I do is I take a flesh toned eyeliner. Here I'm using MAC chromographic pencil. This is NW25/NC35, and this is a MAC Pro product. This one does have limited edition packaging, which is why it's like kind of funky. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace that brow, starting just below the brow, and I'm going to take that pencil and just trace it. And then I'm going to trace the upper part. And then this intersection here. Gosh, that looks goofy. So, yeah, that looks kind of funny. Then I'm going to take a flat eyeshadow brush. This is a MAC 214 short shader. And originally I bought this to smudge out liner and eyeshadow along my lower lash line, but to be honest, I didn't really like it for that because I thought it was a little too scratchy. And then one time I tried it with this eyebrow trick and it was like perfect, so I use this all the time. So basically it's just like this short, has short bristles and it's very dense. And what I'm gonna do with this is just kind of run this along my brows to mellow out that line so that it fades nicely into my foundation. Oh, Tabby just meowed. Tabs! Tabs, you wanna come here? He's so fussy. I don't even know if he's gonna come. You can also use your fingers also to kind of mellow it out. Okay. This brow's looking a little thinner than that one. I'm going to actually thicken this out a little bit. Just a tiny, tiny little bit. I think that's closer to what I want, where I want to go. Okay. Yay. I know this seems like a lot of steps, but seriously, you can just stop wherever you want along the way. When I'm in a hurry, I just do like the first filling out part, and I don't even use the brow gel or this section right here. And then I'm fine, you know. I'm gonna work that into on this side. And so one last thing before I go, one thing you can do that I find is really helpful is when you are, you think you've gotten to where you want to go, is what you can do is, so sorry, I'm babbling, but you can get a mirror, have one in front of me, and then take it and like kind of place it underneath you and look straight into the mirror. And for some reason, when you look down into the mirror and at your brows, you can, it's clearer, it's easier to see any sorts of tweaks that you can do, that you need to do. Another thing that helps is you can grab your phone and you can take it and like take a self shot of yourself. And for some reason, again, when you see it on camera, it's easier to tell like what you need to tweak. I'm sure that I may probably have to tweak something here, but it looks, from what I'm seeing on the screen, it looks like it can get pretty close. I know this side looks a little bit more arched, but I kind of like that because, I don't know, it's kind of my thing. But anyway, I hope you found this video useful, and thank you again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. My hair be crazy, my hair be crazy.